Angela Stribling with Capital Jazz TV. Big surprise, I'm here with Corinne Bailey-Ray, and I'm so excited!
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here. This is your first time here, right?
Yes, yeah. First time at Capital Jazz, yeah. Not my first time in DC, because I love DC. I'm here quite often.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
You know what, this is my first time knowing about you being in DC. I sound like a fan because I have followed your music from the very beginning.
Oh, thank you.
Really
Thanks
such
so
a
much.
fan. You've got such a unique style and an honest, pure voice.
Oh, thank you.
And you must hear that all the time. Talk about something you don't.
No,
You're like, well,
you never get too many compliments.
There you go, that's
Yeah.
true. I've got plenty to give. So, but I just want to hear from you. How is it performing in the States?
I love performing here. To me, it's really special because I think so much of my music is influenced by American music. And so I think when I first came out, you know, I was playing a lot in Europe and the UK, and people were saying to me, do you think you'll ever get to play in America? And I was like, oh, I don't know if they will be into it there, you know, I don't know if it's their thing, because it's soulful music and it's music that, you know, they invented that music, so why would they want me to come there? So yeah, I was very happy to, my first times here, my first shows here were really mind-blowing. It's when my first record had come out, and I was really surprised that people knew the songs, sang along, got into it, and I guess I'd sort of underestimated how sort of English it also was, you know, so there was that thing for American audiences. I guess there was that sort of difference that maybe made it interesting to them.
It's always so, well, what's also interesting is that you were saying you were influenced by a lot of American music, but it's coming through this British filter. So
Yeah,
it's
it's
different to us.
Yeah, I guess it is different, and also a lot of the music I like is kind of, you know, late 60s and early 70s, and that's the music that I sort of most was immersed in, you know. I love
Which artists?
like Bill Withers and Aretha Franklin and Marvin Gaye and Stevie Wonder and Donny Hathaway, and just that world, Silent Family Stone, Jimi Hendrix, just that sort of time, and especially the I guess the nature of that music, you know, it comes out of the church and it has a political message, and it comes out of blues and folk, and, you know, has so much to say, and it's influenced by jazz, so it's really complicated and tripped out like Herbie Hancock, but it's also really popular. So like that period in American music is really fascinating to me.
Do you come from a musical background, your family?
It's funny, my family is, I mean, both my parents really love music. So my dad used to collect like funk 45s, so we always used to have like
45s, you're going retro.
Yeah, he used to have records, you know, that didn't have covers, it was all just cardboard, so I'd see these records and be like, what is this? And put it on and be like, George Benson or Average White Band, or, you know, Earth, Wind and Fire. Or I was like, just discovered all this music and wasn't swayed by the covers. And then he also just used to have LPs, so he would have like a lot of kind of out there like 70s psychedelic funk and Parliament and P-funk and Funkadelic, and like the covers just used to really intrigue me, you know. There were always those weird cartoons, and but yeah, that got me into music. My mum likes to sing, but not that they don't play instruments, and I think that was nice for me. I felt like it was my thing when I was a kid, you know.
So then how'd you get into it though?
I got into music through playing the violin. I used to play classical violin when I was a kid, and I had a really strict violin teacher who was quite sort of mean, maybe. She was called Miss Burgoyne, and she was very serious. And I remember one time after a few years I went to my head teacher and I just said, you know, she's so mean to me, she's so strict, I can never do enough, she's always got something to say and some criticism. And the head teacher said, well, that's because she thinks you're good, which was like a new angle for me, you know. I was only 7 or whatever. I was like, oh, okay, she thinks I'm good. And that really changed my perception of her criticism, and I translated it as, you know, that she believes in me, and that made a big difference on my music journey.
That does make a big difference,
Yeah.
because you don't want a musical teacher who's going to shut down what you're already bringing and make you follow the mold of everybody else.
Yeah.
Someone who can appreciate what you're doing. So why not go the classical route?
I think I found classical music, first of all, I was really good at violin for a certain period, and then it started to get really hard. So I guess I got sort of frustrated with it. I did one concert, and I remember, you know, it was sort of going a tiny bit wrong, and I remember trying to sort of get myself out of trouble with how I was performing, and, you know, it didn't really work. And I thought, it's weird classical music because everybody knows what you're going to do. And at the same time, my sister was learning guitar at school, and like Nirvana and those kind of bands, indie bands, grunge bands were coming through, and I was like, It's amazing their work because they can just make it up and it's
Freedom.
theirs. Yeah, and I love the idea of writing songs and nobody knows how it's meant to go. You know, if you sing your own song and no one knows it and you change the words, nobody knows you've gone wrong, or you have a note that you don't make and you can turn it into something else. And I just, the freedom of that was really exciting, and the simplicity and the honesty of it.
And there's
that
definitely
really attracted
structure,
me.
but you have a lot more freedom.
Exactly, yeah.
Congratulations to you on all your new music.
Oh,
And
thank you.
yeah, just such a big fan. So glad that you're here. Now this is the 25th year of the
Wow.
Capitol Jazz Festival. So
Congratulations.
what a great year for you to decide to come.
I'm really excited about it, and I just saw Marcus Miller at breakfast, and Marcus and I have worked together a little bit before. You know, I sang Free on his record, the Denise Williams song, and I just saw him, and he's going to be introducing us, I think, when we go on stage. But he played with me on my most recent record. He played on a song called Green Aphrodisiac, and he said,
Oh,
you know,
I love that.
Oh, really? Oh,
my
thank you.
gosh.
He was like, it was playing on the radio when we arrived. I was like, oh, it's a sign. You know,
It's a
good.
sign.
It's a sign. We have to play it today.
Corinne
But-
Bailey-Ray, thank you so much. Welcome to the Capitol Jazz Festival. Hopefully this is the first of many.
Thank you.
And thank you. It's a pleasure to meet you. Keep doing what you do.
Thanks very much.
For Capitol Jazz TV, I'm Angela Stribling.